Hello everyone, this is again the Scorpio and Aquarius channel. Actually, it's Truth and Oneness Discussions. Okay, so
Today, what are we talking about? Mosquitoes.
well, I only wanted to talk about this a little bit because I saw somewhere where they were saying there's like tons of mosquitoes that were like, oh, then Alaska, I guess the amount of mosquitoes is getting like way out of control.
Yeah, I was reading about that, and like they literally are like jokingly talking about making the mosquito the state bird because there's so many mosquitoes, especially during the season, and they're like, oh, it's because of global warming and everything like that. Not the fact that they've actually been and admitted to putting mosquitoes in more places to combat them because they put sterilized males so they breed with the females, and then they're monogamous so they don't actually, supposed to lay eggs or the eggs aren't supposed to have any mosquitoes come out. But I was like, nah, I don't know about all that.
And that's if they're actually saying that that's what they're doing. Like, who knows? But obviously, it's not working because since they started their whole like fake mosquito program, we're putting out GMO mosquitoes. The amount of crazy mosquitoes that I've come in contact with has it's like completely ridiculous. I would say 10, 15 years ago, but then people will be like, well, 10 or 15 years ago, there wasn't any global warming as much as there is now. Well, sure, whatever. But anyway, mosquitoes were relatively sane and, normal 10 to 15 years ago. The mosquitoes now are freaking crazy.
Yes.
They're not, I would call them like zombie mosquitoes or something. You want to talk a little bit about it?
A lot of people probably know or have seen it. Like, mosquitoes seem to be faster. Sometimes they're smaller. Sometimes they're bigger. They bite you more than once. Like, sometimes I've had a mosquito when we were on the island bite me like 10 times. Not to get blood, just to bite me. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, this is just one mosquito.
And the bites hurt a lot more. They stay a lot longer. Like, they don't heal as quickly, and they're more itchy, I feel like. Yeah.
And so there's definitely something up with that. And as I was talking about like the Alaska thing, that's like they say there's so many mosquitoes up there now that even the wildlife, like, they'll come down from the snow caps to eat, but then they quickly leave because they get overwhelmed with mosquitoes. People like have even made reports where like they have skin showing and they'll have 100 mosquitoes on them, like all over them, swarming them, and like that's not normal, everybody.
And and I think it's a product of just the whole like GMO mosquito, thing that's been going on, which it just shows you like. There wasn't a real issue beforehand. Now there's actually a problem, and we really need to stop effing around with like nature, Mother Nature, right? Even like, was it 4 or 5 years ago? We camping, and I don't remember any of the mosquitoes back then. We're in an area where there's not very many mosquitoes in general because it's cooler weather overall year round. Last year there was some here and there at our campsite. This year when we camped, there was a freaking ton of them. Like, what the heck? I don't remember this many last year. But yeah, so, and this whole like mosquito issue is like, it's a product of like the bigger, like, I mean, we could say, well, who's doing this, point the finger, but that's kind of not the point of this video. It's just more to just talk about, like, I guess, like, hey, we've noticed this. Hey, has anyone else noticed this? Well, if you have, don't worry about it too much because it's kind of just part of that whole bigger picture matrix things. It's one of those being in the matrix issues. Yeah. Sort of. It's just interesting to look at the product, one of the products of this system or this Maya,
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not a real big issue. It's just
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's like something that's more like a nuisance, or like kind of like something that is a little irritating, and that's kind of what it's meant to do, is like kind of like just keep you out of nature, keep you outside, keep you from wanting to be outside, especially during like the months where it's nice, because they're like, oh, because it's mosquito season, everyone go inside, hide. But it's like, don't let it bother you too much, because there's definitely natural ways you can, like, you don't have to use DEET or anything like that. You can make your own bug repellent, so you can still be outside, and it actually smells pretty nice too, like using like eucalyptus and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good thing to point out, is that I think if you wanted to analyze this problem, I think one of the underlying reasons of why, besides, them saying that, oh, we're trying to counteract, the mosquitoes are increasing anyway because of global warming, I think another big underlying issue is just to try to keep people out of, like, nature, keep you indoors more, because you don't want to be attacked by, killer mosquitoes, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's really interesting. Don't let it bother you. It's all part of just the whole process of this world. And I think even so, well, because we know that the Earth's plane is quite a bit bigger than we think it is, and there's different dimensions that are in play here as well. And just the idea that this was a problem anyway with mosquitoes, because of more mosquitoes because of global warming, if you really look at it, it's kind of like BS, obviously, but we don't have to get too much into that. But the point is that this is all a process, and you can sit back kind of outside looking in and, like, just watch it, and just not content, but just not really feeling one way or the other, just realizing, oh, okay, that's something that they're doing. They're trying to do this probably for this reason, but yeah, it is what it is, sort of thing. Things are getting better in this world, or they're changing. Things are changing, and I guess depending on where you want to be, like if you want to be in a place where the increase in mosquitoes is definite show of that the world is damned, then you can be in that place. Or if you want to be in a place where it means absolutely nothing except that this is what they're doing in this matrix system, then you can be there, and you can be content in your life and keep moving toward what you want to move toward. So
as you were saying, it's just another one of those things you can let it kind of affect you dramatically, or you can just realize it's something that's currently going on, not worry too much about it. Because literally you have full control on how you respond to things. Like, everything is supposed to be like, there's like so many distractions they constantly throw at you all the time, and different things to kind of pull your attention away, or like a lot. And this is just another one. So it's like, don't let it bother you too much.
Stay on your path, or whatever your path is.
And manifest your reality. You don't have to let anyone else do it for you. Only you can.
And should.
Yeah, and should, definitely. And I think that one about wraps it up. Anything else you want to add?
I believe that is it.
All right.